Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about how you can get your business thriving during the down times. So business is usually cyclical, right? There are cycles. There are summer times and winter times, metaphorically. During the summer times, things are great. People are buying your service or product is needed in the marketplace and things are going great. And then winter comes. There's either a downturn in the economy, your buyers no longer want your product or service in the same quantities that they did. Something in the market's changed that has caused your product or service to, dip. And so there is a winter. And usually this is when most businesses fail. So step number one in how to avoid a winter in the first place. In your business, there are some things that some businesses do that are big no-nos. The first one being that they allow one customer to be worth more than 20% of their business. So if one customer is worth more than 20% of your current revenue, then that's a real big no-no. Why? Because if you are getting, 50% of your income or the business's income from one customer, it could be really bad news. Because if they decide to go somewhere else, if they decide to take their business somewhere else, the chances are you're going to be left at a really different point where you were the month prior. You had cash flow going good, salaries are getting paid, the rent's being paid, everything's done, cash flow is really good. And then one customer decides to change his mind and you have 50% less revenue than you did the month before. You didn't adequately plan for those things, and so the business can crash at that point. So never let one customer be worth more than 20% of your revenue. The next step is to never really get obsessed with your product or service. Usually there are entrepreneurs out there that really fall in love with their business idea. They really fall in love with what they have to sell, whether that be a product, whether that be a service. If you really fall in love with the product or service, there will be a point in time where technology sort of overtakes what your current service or product provides. And that's a real big problem because as the market is shifting, your customers' buying changes and their spend in the market changes. And so you can no longer sell what you used to sell in the way you used to sell it. The best way to go about this is to be really obsessed with your clients and their needs and their wants and desires. Because as their needs change in the market, so can your business. If there are things that you need to start adding to your product, or you need to change the product entirely, for example, you can do that. You can start predicting where the market's going to go, and instead of falling in love with the product or service, you fall in love with your clients. So as the market changes, you're immediately going to know what they want, what they need, and continue to serve them. So that's step number 2. And step number 3 is smashing that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help me. So if you could just smash that like button, and it will really, really help me. Once that's done, let's get straight back into the video. The next thing businesses really should be looking at is what is their core product or service that they're currently selling. The 80-20 principle usually applies here. 80% of your sales or revenue is usually coming from 20% of either your services or products. So what is the core thing that holds your business together? That should really be the focus if things get tough. When things get tough, you could always cut off external services, external products, because what happens is there are maintenance fees, there are fees which are related to hosting other services and products. So if your business can offer tons of things, there's usually a cost involved in maintaining that. Either that's through employees, that's through warehousing, for example. And if you could just go straight to your core product or service and only provide that when the times get tough, you could really cut down on a lot of costs and not have all these exorbitant things which are around your business. So if you can find out what is that 20% of what you sell that is really bringing in 80% of your revenue, then you can start focusing really on those things, and that will be able to keep your trajectory going forward even if the market does get a downturn. The next thing that businesses really ought to do is try find out their dream 100. And this strategy comes from a guy called Chet Holmes. And so he was servicing, big companies. And what he realized was when he had a telecommunications client What happened was he was going through their books and he was looking at what sort of clients did they have, and he was trying to find out how he could double their sales. So he was going through client by client and he started realizing their invoices. One was bringing in $10,000, the next invoice was bringing in $20,000, the next invoice $15,000, and then when he came all the way down, he saw a invoice for $250,000. So he was like, what happened here? Because they were selling telecommunications to companies, phones, PABX systems, and such like that. They said that was just a really large company, an IT company that needed phones, and they don't get those customers that often. What he realized was, why not just go after the customers that spend the most often? Because all products and services have key buyers, your Dream 100. This goes for business to business, where you would look for the people that buy the most and the most often. So there are usually 100 people that will buy your product and service way more often than anyone else, and they will spend higher amounts. If you can keep these 100 customers happy, your business could double, triple, and when times get tough, those are the guys that still spend. No matter what's happening in the market, those customers usually still buy, and those are the customers you need to attract. So firstly, set out a list of the top 100 customers that you can serve in your business, and then go after them. Spend a lot of time marketing to them, trying to attract them as customers, and providing them with the most value. Eventually, they will have to cave in. Never give up. They could say no 10 times, 20 times for 6 months, because if you stuck at it for a year and you got all 100 customers, even if it took you 2 or 3 years, your business will be in an absolutely different place than it is now. And the strategy applies for someone that is selling not only to businesses but others. So if you have a product that you sell to a lot of people, for example, you could then attract the people that influence that market the most, the people that have the trust and the awareness in those markets. So if you were selling hair products, for example, who is the major authority figure that a lot of women, for example, would listen to, so that when you sell those hair products, you have a Dream 100 of the highest, most influential people. And if you can attract them into your business to be someone that represents you or helps you sell your products, you're in a much better place. So those are the two strategies to attract your Dream 100. And if you really get them to be your raving fans, your company will be able to achieve anything and in any sort of market. And the last step will be to create raving fans of those Dream 100. And the best way you can do that is provide them the most value. A lot of companies don't spend a lot of time developing the relationships with their biggest clients. A lot do, but some don't. They leave the relationship to purely business. You do business with me, and I provide you with the product or service. You need to really establish the relationship between you and the business owner of the other business or those influencers in the market. They need to know that your company treats them with the utmost respect, treats them like family at times. If there's anything that you could do for them, you would want to do it. If you provide them with a lot of value and you develop that relationship, you meet them on regular terms, you just send them, messages like, hey, I hope you're doing well, I'm just thinking of you, grateful to have you as a customer, is there anything else I can do for you? When they get messages like that, they know that you really care for them. You really care for, their well-being, not just as a client, but, as you want to develop a relationship beyond that, as friends. And if you can do that with your Dream 100 by maintaining a really strong relationship, even when times get tough and another competitor comes to them, they don't want to change because they really have a real strong relationship and they know they can rely and trust you, and so they would never change. Those companies that don't keep those relations and haven't spoken to their best buyers in a long time, a competitor comes on and gives them maybe a slightly better deal, and because they don't feel that connected to your company or your business, then they end up changing. And that can create the winters or the bad times in the companies that don't do that. So I really hope you enjoy these tactics that I've shared with you. If you have any content that you would like to see, if you would like me to do a video for your business on how maybe these can work for you, just drop a comment below and I will be sure and make that content. Or reply to you with the strategy that you can use in your business. I thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, drop it down below in the comment section. Please, if you did enjoy this, leave a like, and until next time, thank you so much.